Sarah Hagee. I'm the Executive Director with the Electrical Association of Philadelphia, for those who don't know me. Joining me this morning is our Program Manager, my colleague, Matt Dybert, who will be facilitating questions and answers this morning. Thank you, Matt. I'd like to thank both Keystone Technologies as well as their local representatives, Vibe and Sales, for sponsoring today's inaugural virtual coffee talk. Guys, this is our first one. We're super excited to be kicking it off with Keystone. I'm going to jump just a few housekeeping items. Again, we've said it now until we're blue in the face, but as you know, mics and cameras, they have been turned off. Even though that's the case, Jared and Josh are still going to be engaging you all today with questions and things along those lines. And so we want you to use that chat feature to submit any answers to questions that come through the demo today, or if you have any questions, go ahead and submit them through the chat feature, and they're going to be asked on your behalf anonymously. So now it's my pleasure today to introduce our presenter for the morning, Jared Gross, along with his colleague Josh from Keystone Technologies. Jared has been with Keystone 2012 and believes that product knowledge and superior customer service are the keys to success. Prior to working with Keystone, Jared worked for Almo Corporation and Ramp, the dentist advertising agency. So Jared, take it away, my friend.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I really appreciate you guys taking time to come out and visit us virtually here. My name is Jared Gross. I'm Regional Sales Manager here at Keystone Technologies, handling Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and Delaware and Maryland. With me here is Josh and Sonia, who is our Director of Sales for the East Coast. So we kind of work together as a team. Also on this call, while you can't see him, is a gentleman by the name of Dave Sherman, who is our inside sales manager. And the three of us work together to make sure that you're always taken care of when working with Keystone. So, first of all, thank you. Welcome to Q4. We made it to Q4. I can't believe it. I know a lot of people, we've probably been locked up for 6 months or so, but we're going to make it through this year. It's been a fantastic year. It's been a lot of challenges, but a lot of good things are happening. So one of the things that Keystone's doing here is we are constantly bringing out new products. We're not letting anything slow us down. With that, I'd like to kind of start showing you some of the new products that Keystone has to offer. Before I do that, I'd like to just reiterate, Keystone Technologies has been in business since 1945. We are a family-owned manufacturer. We've been manufacturing ballasts since day one. About 15 years ago, our third generation of ownership took over. And in that time, we went from just being an OEM supplier to going into the distribution market. We've expanded our product line exponentially, moving from ballast to LED drivers to LED boards and eventually tubes and fixtures, all of which I'd like to show you today. So that's kind of a brief history of who we are. We're located in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, and we're here to help you out. So without further ado, I'd like to start showing you some of the new products. Okay, well, thank you for joining us over here. So as you can see, this is our outdoor wall. This is the newest products that Keystone is offering in our fixture offering. So one of the things that you're going to notice is that we're offering full cutoffs. We're offering traditional wall packs as well as entryway wall packs. Well, I want to go over what makes our products so unique. So first of all, when we talk about our full cutoffs are going to have one of the widest beam angles out there. So you're going to be at about 7 to 8 feet wide beam angle. Also, each one of these products is going to include a clear knockout. So the clear knockout pretty much looks like, right over here, looks like this. Each one of our products in this category is going to have this clear knockout. Behind the knockout, when it comes to our full cutoff, is you're going to see that you're going to be able to install an external photocell. You're also going to notice that each one of these products has the Keystone emblem on there. So the full cutoff is really exciting, but where I think it gets even more exciting is as we move down the line here. So over here is our traditional cutoff. You're going to notice that it's got the traditional body as a normal cutoff. So this way, when you go to replace it, or I'm sorry, traditional, when you go to replace it, you're not going to have to worry about repainting the outside of the fixture or the outside of the building, anything like that. Once again, we're going to have this clear knockout, but only this time with the knockout, if you get behind here, you're going to see that there's 3 little switches there. You're going to see that there's a photocell and a couple of switches. So we have a built-in photocell that is tied to the output of the LED driver. That is very, very important that we mention that it's tied to the output of the LED driver, because the LED driver acts as a surge protector should there be some sort of a surge. The switch, there's one switch that's on and off for that photocell, and then there's another switch that's a 3-way switch that will change the color temp of the fixture. So you can go from 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000 very easily. Also, this product is 0 to 10 volt dimming. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, why do I want dimming for an outdoor product? We want to normally just bomb the light. And you're correct, absolutely. However, the newest DLC regulations that are going to be starting in 2021, going into 2022, are going to start relying on dimmability as part of the DLC requirement. Thank you. So basically what we're going to do here is we are now adding these 0 to 10 volt drivers. One thing that you'll notice too is Keystone, we make the drivers. We make the LED boards. This is our product. So a lot of times what happens is with our competitors, they're sourcing materials from all over, including Keystone. Some of them are sourcing from Keystone. So what happens is if there's an issue, you know, you might say, hey, there's a driver issue. You might call your distributor and they'll call the fixture manufacturer, and they'll say, well, you got to call this guy because he made the driver. This guy made the boards. Keystone, we make the whole thing. It's ours. We take full responsibility and full ownership for our product beginning to end. Over here is our smaller traditional cutoff, which is also, or traditional wall pack, which is also going to be 0 to 10 volt dimming. It's also going to include the color selectability. Another thing about this product is that this is going to open basically in a horizontal mount, so we're not going to have to worry about opening it vertically. It also, these are what we call captured screws. So basically what that means is when you go to unscrew it to open it up, it will unscrew from the back screw hole, but it'll stay in the front screw hole. So you won't have to worry about them falling 15 feet and going to search for that screw. Over here is what we call our entryway wall packs. So one thing you'll notice with this guy here, they come in multiple colors, not just color temperatures, but multiple colors. We offer them in white, black, and bronze. You'll see that we have the clear knockout removed, and you can see that we have the color selection as well as the built-in photocell. Once again, the photocell is tied to the external or the output of the driver. All of these products are tied to the output of the driver. For any of our distributor friends who are here, I just want you to take note of the box that these come in, that these boxes are designed to make it easy for a contractor to pick up the box, look to see exactly what they need, and answer all questions in there. So for instance, and we're going to move over to our floods next, but it talks about the different mounting kits. It shows you a lighting design, a layout of what it's going to look like. So there's a lot of different things that we've put into not just the product, but the marketing of the product as well. Over here are our flood fixtures. So we have our larger floods, our medium size, and our small. Once again, they're going to be color selectable. They're going to have the built-in photocell, so we can do the on-off just like we do on the wall packs. But one thing that we've done here a little differently is when we did some research on these products, we were asking contractors, what is the biggest challenge when buying a flood? And one of the things that they said is not always knowing the mounting that's needed at the job site. So what happens is what we were told is you might buy a flood, you might not know the mounting that's needed at the job site, get the wrong one, now have to go back to the distributor, wait in line, get the correct one, and now we've lost an hour, 2 hours of the job. So what Keystone's done is we've actually added into the box multiple mounting kits. So for instance, on our larger floods, we're going to have the slip fitter, and we're also going to have the trunnion mount. They are in the box. When we go with our medium and smaller floods, they're going to have the knuckle mount as well as the yoke mount in the box. So the whole concept here is less running around for the contractor, making it easier for everyone to be able to move forward with these products. I'd like to show you what the color selection looks like here. So let's put this up a little bit. Also, you'll notice all of the products, just like we've talked before, have the Keystone emblem on there. So when you see that, you know that you're working with a Keystone product, with a Keystone driver, Keystone LED boards, our engineering behind it. Everything that we do is based on Light Made Easy, making this product as easy as possible to use. And down here, we have our smaller floods, which are going to come in white or bronze or black in some cases. So we are really, really excited about this offering. We released it, I'm going to say, about 2 months ago. Once again, it's been a challenging year for everybody, but what we're doing is we're saying Keystone's not slowing down. We know that people still need these products. We are still investing in ourselves and investing in you to make sure that we can help you with your lighting projects. So I'd like to kind of move away from the outdoor fixtures for a minute and kind of go indoors. If you look up here, it looks like something from like the Smithsonian Space Museum, the way we've set this up, but we've set it up to show you the different types of flat panel fixtures that we offer. So Keystone historically has been doing, making an edge-lit flat panel. We've recently transitioned to a backlit flat panel. So what does that do for you? Well, a backlit flat panel weighs about 30% less than a traditional edge-lit flat panel. One of the reasons we're able to take away that weight is we get rid of that light guide plate. The other thing that we can do is we can use less LEDs and create the same amount of light output. If you take here, you'll see a cross section of one of our flat panels. You'll see that we have each of these LEDs, each with their own optics, which projects the light through the lens. We can use fewer LEDs and still create the same type of light output that we had previously. But we've also added a couple things. So this is our LED driver, Keystone's LED driver. And if you take a look there, you'll see that there's a couple switches in there. So some people say that this is one flat panel. This is actually 9 flat panels. And I'll show you how it's 9 flat panels. Because we can change the color temp. We can also change the lumen output. So there are 3 lumen settings. There are 3 color settings. Ultimately, this one fixture is 9 fixtures in one. You're going to see the same on our 1x4 and our 2x4. So we are really, really excited about these products. The other thing that we offer is we offer the surface mount kits. We offer emergency kits. So if any of these products need to be have an emergency driver connected to it, we can do that as well. We can do that in-house as a factory install, or we can send you the materials to do a field install. Just to show you what the emergency kits look like that we're referring to would be here. Keystone as a full line of emergency kits, whether we're using an existing LED fixture, whether we're using a converted LED fixture, where we're going from fluorescent to LED, whatever your needs are, we have emergency options here. Just to kind of go over a couple of these options. When it comes to a LED retrofit where we've taken fluorescent and moved to LED, this kit right here is probably our most popular. What it is it's an LED battery, an LED driver, and an LED board. In the event of the emergency, the battery powers the driver powers the board. This is always connected to the circuit in the fixture that's in the ceiling, so it's constantly being charged. They also come with their test button. When it comes to an existing fixture, with that, like for instance, the flat panels or something that has an existing LEDs, we would use something more like this that would tie into those LEDs. So I'm going to kind of move over here for a little bit. I want to talk to you a little bit about corn cobs, because I know you've never seen corn cobs before and you're going, wow, tell me something I haven't seen. So here's a corn cob. All kidding aside, you guys have probably seen a million of these. They've been around for a while. This is our traditional corn cob. A couple things I want you to note. Number one, we have a port in there. What is that port? It's for our smart port. Smart port is a control system that plugs in using a 3.5 millimeter auxiliary jack, just like this, and plugs right into the lamp. So basically we can control this lamp, we can dim it, we can basically use a PIR sensor, we can use a microwave sensor, or a photo control depending on what we're doing. So that's what we do with our traditional corn cobs, but we've made it even better. So how have we made it better? Well, the power of 9 once again. This corn cob is 9 corn cobs. So what this is this is a 36 watt chassis corn cob. So it's on that body of 36 watts. And you'll see that there's a switch right here. So that switch allows us to bring the light down. So we go from 36 watts to 27 watts to 18 watts, all in one fixture. But after we've reduced the light output, we realize that the customer says, hey, I don't like the color. I like a warmer color temp or a cooler color temp. Well, if we turn it over, you'll see that we can do 3,000, 4,000, and 5,000 Kelvin very easily on this lamp. And over here, I actually have a lamp that is illuminated so we can see it. I'm going to kind of shine it against the wall because it's a little easier to see. But here we are at 3,000. Now we're at 4,000. Now we're at 5,000. We're at 18 watts, 27 watts, 36 watts. So our corn cobs that start in the 36 watt and go all the way up to 100 watt, which would be your 400 watt equal, are now going to have this power and color selectable feature. This is a fantastic option for the distributors who are on the call right now. It's a way for you to stock less. For the contractors who are on the call right now, once again, it's one thing that does everything for you. The other thing too that you'll notice, or that I want you to be aware of, is Keystone loves giving out samples. So one of the things that happens sometimes with samples is someone may not know what color temp they really want on the corn cob, so that they'll ask for 3 of these samples, which is fine. We have no problem doing that. But now that we have a one size fits all, we can now send you the one. You can set it at multiple settings and decide which color temp and which lumen output makes the most sense for you. In our corn cob category, we also have our expander. So there's 2 different types of expanders. This is a shoebox expander, and there's also a wall pack expander. So the concept here is if we don't want to change the area light head, but we just want to change the lamp, we can go ahead and do that. So we would screw in this lamp, we swivel it around where we need it to go, we open it up, and we project the light where we want it to go. We'll also notice that there is the smart port right there. So in this case, we would use the microwave sensor because this would most likely go into a fully enclosed fixture. So we would connect that like that. And now we have a control system on this lamp. One thing I want to just reiterate, and I showed it a little earlier, is the base swivels on these. So that this way, when you screw it in, you're going to screw it in when it's closed, angle it where you need it to go, and open it up. In a similar family, in the same family, we have our new OmniFlex lamp. This is the most flexible corn cob on the market. So what does this do? This could be a high bay lamp. This could also be a shoebox lamp. What if I'm using it in a warehouse and I need to illuminate the aisles and also see the products, I can do that. What if I'm in a garage and I need to illuminate walls or the walls? Or if it's already installed and I want to change some of the lighting, I can keep moving these. I can do direct, indirect, pretty much anything that you want with this fixture. Once again, or I'm sorry, this lamp. Once again, it's going to include the smart port capability. The only difference with this one is it's going to include also an L-shaped bracket, the L-shaped, the L-shaped adapter, which is designed so that when we are in a situation like so, we can plug this in and have the smart port still activated. The base also swivels on this product. Now let's say you need a high bay lamp. Here's your high bay lamp. We have a high bay, we have a low bay. These come in the mogul base as well as a medium base. One thing I want to take note of is if you look at the back of it, you're going to see that there's a small ring of LEDs there. That is to illuminate the inside of the fixture. There are times when we put something like this in, the building owner is used to seeing the fixture itself be illuminated and not just the light coming down. So this allows that to be illuminated at the top. Once again, smart port. This is our big boy right here for your high bays. This would be for your 400 watt equals. Also, they include the safety chain. Similarly in that category is our temp lights. So your temporary work lights, these are linkable. They come in two different wattages. There is a 60 watt and 100 watt. So these are very, very good for that type of application as well. So Keystone also offers a line of compact LEDs. So traditionally, when we've worked with compact LEDs or when customers have worked with compact LEDs, they've usually had an option for a horizontal or a vertical. And we still offer that. But we now also offer an omnidirectional version. So if the customer doesn't know, we can use this guy here as the omnidirectional substitute. If they do know the mounting, we do have the horizontal and the vertical. While we're over here, I just want to show you that Keystone does more than just indoor lighting and more than just regular lighting. We do sign lighting as well. So this here is one of our signs, and it's using our Keystone Sign Hero tube. The Keystone Sign Hero tube comes in multiple sizes, from 18 inches through 120 inches. Each one of the tubes is a rotating base. And the rotating base works like this. So they're also available in 180 degree or 360 degree. In this case, this is a 180 degree product for a single-sided sign. They come in 4,000 Kelvin and 6,500 Kelvin. So this is a great solution to bypass the ballast, not have to worry about those boat anchor sign ballasts anymore, maintain the integrity of the original sign with reducing your maintenance costs as well as your energy costs. As we move on over here, I want to show you, this is what we call our Essential Series. So our Essential Series is our indoor products, our residential, light commercial, A-lamps, PARs, BRs, MRs, all that good stuff. Right now, we're actually at, I believe, about 180 different SKUs, and that number is growing. We have them in multiple base types. So for instance, the A19s, we would have in the GU24 base as well as the traditional medium base. We have your filament style light. We have the frosted style. When it comes to our chandeliers, we have the bent tip and the straight tip. We offer globe lamps. Pretty much anything and everything that you can think of in this traditional residential and light commercial screw-in application, we can help you. Now, we talked about light commercial, but what happens if you know, someone is looking at it and they're going, well, you know, I don't really like using a corn cob because I don't like seeing the diodes, and I know that one of these lamps is not going to be strong enough. What should I do then? Well, in that case, we would want to use our commercial industrial A lamps. There's an A21, A23, and A25. These are going to replace up to a 300-watt incandescent lamp. A lot of times people will use these in place of a corn cob if they don't like to see the diodes illuminated. Another thing that I've used these for is in the coal mines. These are very, very good in the different jelly jars in the coal mines that are used. I think that's about every 100 yards or so, maybe even less than that. Here is our A23 and our A25. We also have a par 38. All of these right here are going to be commercial industrial. So the light output is going to be a lot more. It's going to be a lot more intense than if you were to just put this in your house. All right, who wants to talk about tubes? Keystone, we've been making tubes now for, I'm going to say, about 6 years. And we have the largest tube offering in the country. Basically, we have everything: 18-inch, 2-foot, 3-foot, 4-foot. Keep going, they go all the way up to 8 feet. We offer T5s. So our T5s will come in a what we call a smart drive, which is a ballast driven, or a direct drive / DX2, which is ballast bypass. So most popular, I find, is going to be the ballast bypass. Most people tend to gravitate towards that. And you're going to hear me use the phrase DX2 a lot. DX2 refers to our double-ended LED tube, where you're able to wire it hot on one end and neutral on the other, or hot and neutral on the same end. As you guys know, when LEDs first came out, the bypass LED tubes first came out, they were a single-ended tube, which has a lot of benefits. But there were a lot of contractors who said, hey, I don't want to have to change the sockets. I'm used to wiring it going hot to one end, neutral to the other. What can we do? So we were developing this product. We've had it in a T8 style for a long time. We've now just recently introduced it in a T5 style. Over here is our Type A tube. As you can see, it's using a ballast. The Type A refers to the smart drive. Type B is referring to the direct drive, which is completely bypassing a ballast like you're seeing here. And then we also have a Type C product, which is an LED driver dedicated to the lamp. These are available in T8s and T5s. Where you're going to use a Type C over a Type A or B. So a Type A or B are going to be used very often in just a traditional, I need light, I don't need dimming, I don't need anything else, I just want to cut out the ballast and put in some LED tubes. When we move to a Type C, that's where we want to use, where we can use a little more dimming. We have a little more controllability. Also, in certain areas of the country, there are rebates given for Type C only, which once again refers to an external LED driver dedicated to the LED tubes. And right here is an example of what a Type C system looks like. Just to reiterate on our LED tubes, we have everything from 18 inches, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, and 8 feet. This is all in our traditionals. We also have, when it comes to the 8 foots, we have single pin or HO, depending on what your specific needs are. The 8-foot product, like to reiterate, will only be a ballast bypass. We do not have a ballast-driven 8-footer. Every once in a while, someone will ask us why. Well, the main reason is most of the 8-footers, or at least a lot of the 8-footers out there, are working on magnetic ballast. They're old magnetic ballasts. If we go switch from the LED, or I'm sorry, from the fluorescent to the LED, we're going to have to either remove that ballast or replace the ballast. Therefore, let's just remove it altogether. High bay fixtures. Keystone has high bay fixtures. Right here, what you're looking at is our linear high bay fixture with our lens guard on it. These are going to come in a 90 watt through a 215 watt in this specific format. And then we go up to a 320 watt, which is a 4-foot length. As you can see, we can do a lot with these fixtures. Here right now, you can see the inside, which is our LED driver on a quick disconnect. It's very important our drivers are on quick disconnect. Also, I just want to reiterate that the LED driver, we put the part number right here, our phone number, everything, so it's easy. So if you were to run into a situation in 7 or 8 years where that driver were to burn out and you don't want to go ahead and replace the whole fixture, we can replace that driver for you very easily. As you can see, we also have an aux sensor that we've built into this fixture. And if we turn it over, we will see there is an emergency driver connected to this. So this really here is the works of what we can do with our linear high bays. We also have round high bays, also known as UFOs. Our round high bays come in a 100 watt, 150 watt, or 200 watt wattage lumen output. They also include or they don't include, but they have an option for a smart port type sensor that can plug in there so that you can use them as sensor controlled. In the same family as a round high bay would be our washdown fixture. This is when we're in a food grade service, where we're in, a food preparation area. Maybe we're in a dusty area, something like that. This is IP69K, which is the highest IP rating of that's out there for LED fixtures. Basically what this means is that no water, no dirt, anything like that is going to get in here. We can spray this down. So if we're in, like, for instance, a barn, a milk barn where some of these are used, and we have to spray this down every day, we can go ahead and do that very easily without any water getting into the fixture itself. All right, we're going to move on to drivers, and then we're kind of start opening it up for questions. So over here are our programmable LED drivers. So it's getting to that point now in the industry where drivers are starting to burn out. People are coming to electrical distributors or contractors and saying, hey, do you have a driver to replace this? And not everyone really knows what driver to use. They're sometimes difficult. It's not as seasoned of an industry as like the fluorescent ballasts were. So what we've created is we've created a programmable driver. As you can see, there are multiple form factors of these drivers. If you look carefully, you'll see that there's a rating here. So a milliamperage rating, which is going to be 420 milliamps through 1250 milliamps. So what I can do is I can connect this driver to the cradle. The cradle is connected to our laptop, and we can then go ahead and program that driver to any milliamperage in between those two settings. And you'll see that there are different form factors based on the different drivers that you may need in the types of fixtures that you're using. Now, what happens if I don't really like working with computers? I don't really want to do that. It seems a little too complicated for me, but I want something similar. Well, that's where we have our power select driver. So the power select driver, once again, is going to allow us to change milliamperages. It doesn't give us quite the range that the programmable does, but it still does allow us to make those changes. And just in case anyone is asking, milliamperage refers to the amount of light output that an LED driver will create from that light or to that LED. So the higher the milliamperage, the more light output there is. So we talked a little bit about color select and lumen select. Well, now when we get into some of our retrofit kits, which Keystone likes to call a future fit because we're actually bringing these fixtures up to the future, what we're doing here is you'll see, for instance, this is our 6-inch rectangular retrofit kit that you'll see has a couple switches on there. One switch right here and one switch down here. So this switch is going to allow us to change the power. This switch is going to allow us to change the color. If we need to do something similar in our 11-inch, we have that as well. We have the two switches. Here's your power, here's your color. And in our circular fixture or circular retrofit kits, we do the same. Power, color. Down here, what you're looking at is our light engines. So basically what this is a similar kit as what was above, but rather than having an LED driver, we've kind of taken the components of the LED driver and put them right on the circuit board. So these would be for smaller applications where we have a little less room to work with. Along the same lines is what happens if we have a troffer fixture that we don't want to put new tubes in. We want to do something completely different. Well, that's where the AlumaGroove system comes in. And the AlumaGroove system is 2 boards and a driver. And essentially, they come in multiple sizes where we can go ahead and retrofit a fixture to put this in and make it what I call a more permanent solution. And it's going to give you a 10-year warranty. So essentially, this is designed for a warmer climate, a warmer environment. So let's say we were retrofitting a vapor tight fixture. Well, then, you know, we might want to go ahead and put this in there because we know that this is going to handle the heat much more than an LED tube will. And then we also have our door frame kits. So a door frame kit is pretty much designed to convert an existing fixture to look like a brand new fixture. So we're retrofitting it, but what we're doing is we're literally taking the door off of the troffer, we're taking the lens off, gutting it, going down to the bare pan, and then when we open it, we have a bare pan. We then connect our hot and neutral on a quick disconnect. Everything connects to our driver. We close it up, we lock it up, and we're good to go. And as I mentioned vapor tight, I realized that I skipped over my vapor tight fixture that I want to show you. Which is right here. So our vapor tight fixtures are a slim profile. They come in 2 foot, 4 foot, and 8 foot. They are multiple multiple lumen outputs in the different sizes. One thing I love to show on this product is the durability. So one of the first things to go on a vapor tight is going to be the lens. This lens is very durable. It dropped, I accidentally stepped on it. You know, where there's a will, there's a way. If I really want to destroy this, I'm sure we can figure out a way to do it. However, for basic wear and tear, for basic bumping, when an installation, something like that, this is not going to shatter. Also, behind here is a Keystone LED driver. Keystone is very proud of our drivers. That's where we started. We were a driver and a ballast manufacturer. So all of our fixtures have our engine in there, our LED driver. And with that, that is a presentation of Keystone products. I'd like to open it up to any questions that you might have. I'm going to grab a drink real quick.
Well-deserved drink. That was incredible, just from my perspective, and certainly I'm eager to hear from our attendees on some of their more technical questions, but that was a fantastic presentation. Thank you, Jared. And Josh behind the camera. All right, so let's open it up for questions. I have to imagine there's a few out there. There were quite a bit of information, so we'll give it a couple minutes, let people think through. The nice background, Philadelphia. Not one question. Jared answered it all. Ah, oh, that was Matt. Let's give it a couple of seconds. All right, Matt.
Jared, we have a question. Are the drivers and fixtures multi-volt?
Yes, that's a great question. I would say about 99% of our products are multi-volt, which is 120 through 277. There are a couple select items that are 120 volt only. But for as far as our fixtures go, they are 120 through 277. When you run into some of our retrofit kits, they are sometimes dedicated 120.
Second question.
Let's Matt, actually, you know what, I see that there's a question on pricing. That's really not something we can talk kind of broadly about. But Jared, maybe you can talk in terms of affordability amongst your competitive market.
Yep.
You know, where do you fall?
So Keystone, we are priced very aggressively. I will be the first to say we are not the cheapest on the market, and cheap is not something that we really think about when we think about Keystone. We are priced competitively. We are have a very, very high quality product, and you are getting a lot for your dollar when it comes to working with Keystone. If anyone would like to talk pricing on a specific product, I would be more than happy to do that on a one-on-one basis, but we can stand toe-to-toe with anyone out there.
Following this session, we're going to send an email and it will include Jared's contact information directly.
We have another question.
Yep.
What about 480 volt applications?
That's a great question. So while we talked about that most of our products here are 120 through 2, Keystone does have a series of step-down transformers that will bring 480 volt down to 277. For instance, right here would be our step-down transformer that we would use for the Cobbs. This is a maximum wattage of 150 watts. So that's the maximum wattage you can go on there. And it'll bring the 480 down to 277. We also have them in F-cans enclosed for different types of fixtures. And they range in wattages going from 150 watts all the way up to 375 watts, depending on your specific needs.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to add quick too about the universal voltage of the drivers. You know, I think it's particularly important when it comes to our flood offering. You know, there's a lot of manufacturers out there where, you know, if you're looking at a particular flood, you know, they only offer it as a dedicated 120 volt or a dedicated 277 volt. They don't offer it as a universal volt product. So that's another thing you're going to have to check at the job site. You know, in addition to, do you need a photocell? Do you not need a photocell? What's the color temperature? So, you know, our particular flood offering takes about, you know, 40 different SKUs and consolidates it down to about 5. Kind of very similarly to the wall packs, the color selectability, that photocell feature, you know, would take, you know, maybe 20 different SKUs and consolidate it down to about 5. So any of you that would be maybe more on the service side of the world, it's very easily for you to keep a couple of these on your truck and pretty much cover any kind of application that you would run into.
Jared, can you talk about sample policy and how those in the chat could get some samples of your offerings?
Yeah, absolutely. So Keystone, one of the things that Keystone is synonymous with is samples, okay? We love to give out samples. We know we're not selling insurance. We're not selling an intangible. It's lighting. If it fits into the fixture or the fixture fits into the ceiling, produces the right amount of light, we're all going to win. So our policy works like this. If you have a job that you're working on and you have a sample that you would like to see, send me an email. My email is jared@KeystoneTech.com. I ask that you provide me with a job name that the sample is going to and an address to where to send it to. We love giving out samples. The only time we stop giving out samples, which has only happened a few times, is when people are requesting samples, but we're never seeing that return on that investment. That's happened a handful of times in the last 3 or 4 years that we've been doing the sample policy. So I really don't anticipate that happening, but I do have to say that as a disclaimer. But we love giving out samples. Also, if anyone is local, we're in Lansdale, so if you wanted to do pickups, we can do that as well.
How about your HQ? Is it available for tours and see some of the products firsthand?
It is, yes, it is. We would want to do a scheduled tour, and we would probably want to limit it to about 5 people at a time, just making sure that we're adhering to, you know, how the county's handling COVID and making sure that everyone's safety is primary.
To add to Jared's point as well, The current facility we're in right now is actually our old corporate headquarters, where we turned this into a virtual training facility. So if we would need to do some in-person training here, whether it be with end users, whether it be with contractors, we would love to do that for everyone.
What is the color range for the adjustable cob lamps?
It's 3,000, 4,000, and 5,000 Kelvin. And just so you know, that is the same range for the outdoor fixtures. The indoor color selectability is a little different. That is 3,500, 4,000, and 5,000.
So Jared, when would a contractor call you versus your sales rep?
Sure. So we work as a team. So Bibin is an extension of Keystone. The way I normally see things working the best is if you were to email me and copy the Bibin sales group. They are our feet on the ground. We all work together as a team, but emailing, Keystone directly, copying them, sending it to them and copying me, whatever you want to do, as long as both of us are involved, we're going to make sure that you're taken care of at all times. And just to reiterate, Bibin has a fantastic outside sales team and a fantastic inside sales team who do a great job at promoting Keystone, and we thank them.
That's great. I don't see any more questions coming through. And in fact, we are just a few minutes past our time. So Jared, Josh, is there anything else you'd like to leave the group with today?
Yes, I will be sending everyone who has attended here an email individually, thanking them for their time. I'll also be asking for an address where I can send a gift. The gift will obviously be a Keystone catalog, and then there will be some other Keystone gift that I will be sending out to each individual who has attended. And so just keep an eye out for that email, and we'll go from there.
Wonderful. As I said, an email will be sent here shortly. It's going to include just a brief survey because we at EAP want to make sure this is a valuable format for our members. It'll include Jared's contact information as well. And so I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. Again, gentlemen at Keystone, this was fantastic. You guys really set the bar high for our first virtual coffee talk. So thank you both. Bibin Sales, thank you. Apparently, Jared, is it your birthday?
It is, yes, actually.
Well, happy birthday! And actually, I will out Gene on that one. He shared that. So with that being said, I'll close up the meeting this morning. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks,
everyone. Appreciate the time.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.